Nicole Kaza is, do I say that correctly? Koza?
Yeah.
Koza or Kaza?
Koza.
Koza. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning.
She was with us a few weeks back. She's a clinical director of outpatient services for Central New York Services, which is a private, non-for-profit behavioral health organization dedicated to improving the quality of life for individuals and families affected by mental illness and substance abuse, which is a big deal going on these days. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning.
So what's, I know we talked the last time about the substance abuse problems. It's out of control. It's an epidemic now, right?
Yes, it
Heroin, an epidemic in the area.
Heroin is specifically the top issue right
Yeah.
now.
And is that what we're talking about here right now?
Well, yeah, we have a couple new things that have come up, specifically the elephant tranquilizer. I don't know if you've heard about that.
I don't know about that, but I seem to have heard years and years past that, that stuff is used as people inject it or they take it or...
Yeah, well, 2 milligrams could knock out a 2,000-pound elephant. So the dealers right now are cutting the heroin with this type of fentanyl called carfentanylin.
Okay.
So the word on the street is that heroin is really not even in the drug anymore. It's straight fentanyl.
So this is what you hear when there was a case somewhere where I don't know if it was North Carolina somewhere, but they had this small community had like a dozen overdoses over the weekend.
Right.
And they're saying because something the heroin was really laced with something and that's what caused all these overdoses.
Yeah, I actually saw a autopsy results that came back from a previous person that we lost a couple months ago, and they had two nanograms of heroin in the drug and 11 nanograms of fentanyl.
Wow. So
I don't know if people are not understanding that this is not going away, and if they use, the end result is overdose and death.
Yeah, because you're. By the way, it's not like you're going to a pharmacist and getting your heroin. This is stuff that in the back of a house somewhere, an apartment somewhere, and who knows where it's being. They're doing their little science project.
I have two questions. One of them, I guess, is kind of answered by what you've already said. But, it just seemed like when I was growing up, I don't know, I've never purchased heroin or anything like that. But my thought was it was always like an expensive drug. But now to know that it's less than, common drugs, pot or something like that, I don't understand how that is. I guess part of the reason is when you're mixing other things into it, there's not a lot of heroin in it, so you can sell it for much cheaper.
Yeah, heroin was very expensive. That was it was expensive. Today it's like $5 a bag.
And that's because they're cutting it with all these other things that are.
Right.
My other question is, what is the name of there's police and fire departments have these drugs where if you overdose they can save you.
That's the Narcan.
The Narcan.
Yes.
Will Narcan save you if you're overdosing on this elephant tranquilizer?
No. There's been cases. I just spoke to a mother. We were actually at Walgreens last week doing an Narcan initiative for Walgreens because I don't think people really know that they can get a prescription from their doctor and go just like a copay and get Narcan.
And have it. Just have it on hand.
Mm-hmm. And they're going all over into the pharmacy. So every local pharmacy has this for availability for families.
And what's the price, by the way, of these?
If you don't have a prescription from a doctor, goes about $75 for the kit.
Meanwhile, by the way, the EpiPen has skyrocketed for a kid who just was around somebody with peanuts. Can't get the EpiPen, but you can get. They should all be available at an affordable price. This is ridiculous.
Yes.
Yeah.
So to answer your question. The Narcan is being distributed all over. I'm a Narcan trainer. I can go around and train in about 10 minutes on how to use it and give that for free. It's actually not free to the state. They're the ones who are paying for this for us to do this. But yes, the police departments have them. The ambulance has them. UFD has them.
But if you're overdosing on this elephant tranquilizer.
Right. You would have to probably have a large amount of Narcan given to you. And that's not even guaranteed. to work.
And how would they know that this is something that's laced with an elephant tranquilizer?
That's why we're seeing so many fatalities right now.
Yeah, well.
Yes.
When you say we're seeing fatalities, what are you talking about in communities here, local communities?
Well, I have the statistics that I have said that as of April this year, we lost 13 individuals. I know at least of 25 myself.
Okay.
So it depends on how it's actually being
reported.
Reported.
Sure.
A lot of people are having heart attacks, and that's what's being documented. But it's really the result of the drug.
Okay.
So it's the largest since 2013. We had some. It kept growing every year, and today we're well over what the average was last year.
And a lot of this does come from prescription meds. So you're on the. So what do you give it? What advice do you give somebody? So you've hurt your ankle, you have a back problem. Back problems are the worst because it's like a pain that doesn't go away.
Right.
And you're trying to sleep, and finally you just that's okay. I'm taking the pill, and then after a little while, maybe one pill doesn't work like it used to, so you got to take 2, and then you got to take 3, and then you can't get the meds anymore. So what do you do?
Right.
Is that where a lot of this is coming from?
A lot of doctors are being cautious today now, and handing out a lesser of a script, more of 7-day script instead of a 30-day script. I think just because of the epidemic and how bad that it's really been, I think doctors are being very cautious and understanding that this is, becoming a huge issue. Acupuncture and exercise and doing alternative things instead of taking medications is definitely how you should go about it before you just take that script.
Betty in Barneville with a question. Go ahead.
Hi. I'm just curious, why would these drug dealers add this stuff to the heroin or whatever else these people are injecting? It seems to me they're killing off their customer base. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Exactly. It doesn't make any sense. We say that all the time when we hear that. The clients actually, or the users actually, unfortunately, get really excited and say, I've heard them say this right to me, wow, if it could kill so-and-so, I want to try that.
Wow.
Yeah. Why the dealers are doing this, I'm not sure, but they're making a lot of money off of it.
Wow.
Oh,
all
okay,
right,
well, thank you.
You do kind of wonder if maybe it's less expensive for them to produce. That would be certainly a driving factor to...
Now, Nicole, I hate to have you to guess on this, but would this adding this fentanyl to the drug lead to a potential murder charge or manslaughter charge for the dealer if they're let's say that they were caught or arrested in connection with an overdose?
Well, I do know that New York State was looking at that. In other states, it's happened. Right now, they are looking into if they do know who the dealer is, that charges can and will be pursued.
Okay.
I'm not sure where the state's at with that right now, but I know that there's been talk about that.
Okay. We heard the story from TMZ that it was it Bon Jovi's daughter that had the heroin alleged heroin incident, and there was originally going to be a charge against them, and that was stopped very quickly because in New York State you cannot be charged no matter what the situation is for reporting an incident. Is that
right?
true?
Yes, it's called the Good Samaritan law. Which
makes sense because what would happen is people would not report it because they feared that they would end up being arrested.
Yeah, I had a case last year where a 17-year-old girl overdosed, and she was here local, and the people that she was partying with got so nervous, they ended up driving her to a Rome hospital and dropping her off in a snowbank because they were so afraid.
Afraid of it.
So
chances are they're going to be all messed up in the head anyway, and probably not making the right decisions to begin with.
Exactly.
If they're using.
Yes.
And have we done a better job of during the war on drugs that started in the Reagan administration, and even before when Nixon and Ford and Carter were all talking about drugs, we really kind of tried to scare people, especially younger people. And a lot of times we lied. So as a government, they lied to the people. And have we stopped that? Because that really is a problem.
Yeah,
Because then you don't believe anything they tell you.
I know. Being real and being honest, especially with kids right now,
Yeah.
is so important. And I think, we're going into the schools and educating the educators.
Mm-hmm.
I think that we've done a better job, and we're continuing to just put it out there and let everyone be aware of what's going on. That's why we're putting out all this awareness.
So when you use heroin for the first time,
Mm-hmm.
are you hooked? Could you walk away and never do it again?
There are some people that are immediately hooked. There
Mm-hmm.
are some people that said, I've tried it once and I will never try it again.
Okay.
But those are few far in between.
Yeah. How about crack cocaine? Same type of thing. They say the high you get off that is like nothing else.
It's like any drug you do. The first
Right.
time you do it, you'll never, ever, ever feel that high
Right.
again. So everyone tries to chase that high.
So it really is a situation, though. It depends on the person. Like that person who could drink and drink and drink and never have a real issue, but the one who just took a drink and became hooked.
Yeah.
It's really the person, not as much the drug.
Sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
Right.
Yes.
Makes
I had
sense.
one more question for you. You talked about the fentanyl basically being an elephant tranquilizer. This isn't the first we've ever heard of animal drugs being used. What's the other one? The K. People call it a Khole that they go into, which is that an animal?
Oh, that's the ketamine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that to euthanize dogs?
Yeah,
Or it's
yes,
used to.
yes, and kids are doing that too, and they use that term going into the K-hole.
Right,
And
that's-
and the thing that I could say for people that don't understand what that means is it's an example is what is that movie? What is
Pulp
the movie?
Fiction, is it? No.
No. Going into God,
Fear and Loathing in
Alice
Lost-
in Wonderland
Oh, okay,
when
yeah.
she's going
Right,
down. They use that example like it's their whole world is just circling, and
Yeah.
they love that feeling.
All right, interesting. It's always good having you on, and I like having you come on when we can update something that is happening. Like
Yeah.
You're seeing, boy, there's a resurgence in kids using spray paint. I have to tell you a funny story. So we're selling our house, so everything's like purge, get everything cleaned out. They'll tell you, our real estate agents, you can't have a lot of no clutter. So we're cleaning everything out. I'm going in. I'm walking in. My daughter did a nice job of cleaning her room, and all of a sudden, I open her drawer, and there's a bottle of can of spray paint. So I'm like, oh my God, what is this doing in her? So come to find out, my wife had bought it. There was a project or something she was working on. But I think that I felt a little stupid. But you can't feel stupid if you're a parent, right?
No, not at
You
all.
gotta
Because
be-
huffing is a big deal for kids as well.
It
so
is.
as you know, you see that, and that kind of trigger you to say like, oh, geez,
What is going on?
Exactly.
I think you have to be, and it's so easy for us to say, well, my kid would never, ever.
Exactly.
How many times do you hear
Yeah.
that?
Oh, all the time we do.
just-
The only
We know
other,
your kid isn't doing it yet because you can't even.
Yeah, my
get the
kids
spray
aren't
paint to
either
go.
yet,
Not old
but-
enough. But
but the other new thing that's happening is the Utica Police Department is starting the Angel Initiative.
all right, what is that?
That's a new approach to fight opiate addiction. It gives if someone wants to come into the police department, they're going to say, "I need help." And so we have volunteers such as myself who is going to be able to come down and assess that person and get them into the right course of treatment.
Okay. I just saw the story over the weekend of these panhandlers that are over there, and there's one on Broad Street, and they're all over the place. We never used to see this around here, but we're seeing a lot of it now. Are these kids? Are they addicts or scamsters? What's going on?
I'm not sure, really.
We haven't been able to figure that out.
Yeah,
They look
that's-
like they're just in really great shape. Their clothes are nice and clean, pressed slacks.
Well, no, not the ones that
okay,
I've seen.
not that. Not
I've
that
seen
nice.
one with
No.
animals, pets, dogs.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder if you panhandle for the dog to feed that.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
yourself.
fine, but I cannot afford that Elpo, so I gotta be panhandling for that. I just don't. It's very interesting. We've not seen it, but we're seeing it now. We've all heard the stories of college kids putting themselves through college just in New York, making $40,000-$50,000 a year, just panhandling. So you kind of wonder.
Yeah.
We got to dig in and find out about these guys.
Yep.
All right, good stuff, Nicole.
right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
People want to get in touch with you at your CNYS services,
Yes.
Central New York services.
All they have to do, they could walk in or they could give a call at 315-507-5800.
Parents nervous, confused, they should call.
They should definitely call
Okay.
because we do have the support group every Thursday night from 6 to 7.
All right.